Started. Stop recording.
Alright, what's up guys? It's Justin Ruland, and I'm back here with a new video. And today I want to talk about, I want to do a little discussion here. And I feel like this is something that I've been wanting to do ever since I did why the LG G5 was a failure. My fiance has moved in with me, and she has the LG G5, and I want to kind of give my experience using the G5. I know it's kind of an older phone. I know pretty much nobody has it or whatever, but I kind of want to give my experience on using it and why I would not recommend an LG device for anybody, in my honest opinion. So let's start off with the feel in the hand of the G5. The G5 feels exactly like everybody said it did. It feels like, I don't want to say it's like a cheap plastic, but it has this like weird, like glossy, like I can't explain how it feels. It's very weird. Actually, I don't even want to say it's glossy. Like I can't explain it. You have to feel it for yourself to get an idea. But to make this short, it does not feel good in the hand. Now, before I go on, I just want to say this video is not hating on LG at all. I don't hate LG, but I just feel like, I would never buy any of their phones unless they improve some things that I'm going to talk about. And even then I probably wouldn't, because I'm heavily invested in Moto Mods, which is like the innovation of the year, pretty much. It's great. But anyway, so yeah, the feel in the hand is not too good. I'm not really crazy about how it feels. With the case on though, it feels alright. It's okay. Next thing I want to discuss is the look. Now, the look of the G5 is it's ugly. Put it that way. It's an ugly phone. It does not look. It's not the most attractive phone out, but neither is my phone. Because you see the pogo pins on the back of my phone, like little connectors. But my phone, yeah, it's not really, and it's got a big camera bump on it, but at least the color of my phone and just the it looks okay. It's like I said, my phone's not the most attractive phone either, but I believe it's more pleasing to the eye than G5. But I do want to say this video is not just about the G5. This is LG phones in general, but I'm talking about my experience with the G5 now. Also, another thing I didn't like was the way you remove the battery. The little button on the left side, the little button on the bottom left of the phone. You push that button, and the bottom of the phone pops out, and the battery is connected to the bottom part of the phone, which it's a very weird feeling. I don't like that. I don't like the battery. I've never felt anything like that before.
Not necessarily. I don't like it myself.
Yeah, even my fiance hates it. I mean, it's when I first held the G5, I could not find that button at all, and she couldn't find it the first time either. I had to tell her there was a button there. She didn't believe me. I was like, yeah, you can take the battery out with that button. She's like, there's no button. I'm like, yes, there is. And so, but what that button's for, basically, well, what it was for, because it is the LG Friends, which was a complete flop. The only Friends that were really available were the camera grip, the B&O headphone DAC, and I believe there was a VR headset that nobody bought because LG's VR is garbage. But those were basically the only basically the LG Friends that were available. Now you compare them to Moto Mods, you got a pretty good amount of Moto Mods. You got a gamepad, you got a speaker, you got a bunch of battery packs. Actually, you got 2 speakers. You got a bunch of battery packs. There's a wireless charging mod. There's a projector, which I wouldn't use. There's a 360 camera, which I wouldn't use, but you see where I'm getting at here.
LG didn't do it right with the LG friends.
No, I mean, and me and Amaryllis, we talked about this when she came from Kentucky, and she was here for 2 weeks. We said that you know, we discussed that LG could have put the pins on the back of the phone, but then I thought about it really hard, and I'm like, they couldn't have, because they have the dual cameras and the power button in the back. Now Motorola has dual cameras on the Moto Z2 4s, but the power button is on the side on the bottom right, just like my phone. So in Motorola, they can't put their fingerprint scanner on the back because they got the pins. But yeah, the LG Friends was executed very poorly. It was not good. The next thing was that I didn't like was the UI of the G5, the default UI when you pull it out of the box. The default, it's just called Home basically. When there's no app drawer, and if you want to search for apps, you got to do a fucking Google search. Like, how gay is that, man? Like, they didn't include an app drawer. Now you can enable the app drawer, but even the Home with separate apps list launcher sucks. So what I did was I installed the Google Now launcher for my fiance, and which is the launcher that was on the Nexus phones, and she loves it. It's very accessible for the blind. It's very easy to organize your apps and your home screens. It's great, you know. I really do enjoy it. I also want to touch quick on battery life. It's okay. It's better than the Galaxy S6 for sure, but not by much. It was about 38% in about 5 hours, which is kind of, I don't want to say that's awful, but it's not good. But there are some good things about this phone too. The screen.
I charged it like 3 times today.
Yeah. See, now that's, yeah. But there are good things about this phone though. I don't want to say there's all bad, because there's not. I will say the screen is pretty decent. I do prefer AMOLED over LCD, but you know, it looks decent. A little small for me, but you know, it's not awful. It's still usable. But I'm gonna move away from the G5, and I want to just talk about LG in general. Now, the main reasons why I wouldn't recommend LG devices is, like I said, the software experience. It's not really intuitive. There's just so many bells and whistles that you really don't need. Like the smart cleaning stuff and the frickin' Q slide bullshit. You don't need all, like, to me, that's some gimmicky stuff. Like, some people may find a use for that, but coming from Samsung, I've really grown to love stock Android. When I switched from Samsung to Motorola, like, I can't go back to TouchWiz, or I can't go to LG. I've just grown to love stock Android. Now, this is not completely stock Android, but it's, you know, Motorola. The only real customizations are in the Moto app, which is it's not in your way. It's not intrusive at all. You can actually disable the Moto app too if you want to, and you can have completely stock Android if you want to on this phone. But I don't, because there are some features, there are some Moto actions that I do find really useful, like twisting for the camera and chopping for the flashlight. Those are pretty useful to me. But the software on LG phones is just clunky, you know. It's really cartoony. You know, there's just too many features. Now, I'm not saying that's bad for me. because I'm an advanced Android user, but I still prefer stock Android. But I would say for anybody who is coming from, you know, iPhone to Android, I would not recommend LG or Samsung. I would go with, I would say maybe HTC, OnePlus, Motorola, a Pixel, but LG and Samsung and like Huawei and all them other companies, I just can't recommend them. One more thing I want to touch on about LG too is the whole boot looping controversy. This is very, I don't know what LG did when they manufactured their devices, but there's been a lot of issues with like the G4, the V20, and even the G5 with boot loops. And I really, I can't really, I don't know, I want a phone that's reliable. I need something reliable for me. And an LG device is not reliable. I mean, we had to go, last Sunday we had to factory reset my fiance's phone, and that was
a pain in the ass.
It took over an hour. Because, like, it's just so, the setup on an LG phone versus the setup on stock Android, the setup wizard is totally different, and it's not that it's difficult, but
my SIM card was not working right.
Right, yeah, but I'm talking about the setup wizard when you first get like factory reset the phone.
Yeah.
It's not totally difficult, but you know, there's just like, I hate with the keyboard when you're typing something, you get all these pop-ups like, oh, you can change the height of the keyboard, or it'll say, be sure to use headphones when you're typing your password, and it makes the keyboard small, and the letters are hard to find so you got to try to find the OK button on that little pop-up, and there's just so many pop-ups, it's unreal. LG software is just in your face, you know. And not only that, but there's just issues. There's lag. Things don't open when you want them to. Sometimes the screen doesn't unlock right away. Sometimes it won't even turn off right away. It's just not reliable. Now I do think Galaxy phones are a little more reliable, but not by much.
Yeah, not by much. I don't think so.
Like I said, you want reliable, get a Pixel, Motorola, OnePlus, or HTC. You know, or if you don't want Android, get an iPhone. But I think the closest thing to an iPhone would be a Pixel or a Motorola device or a OnePlus device. But anyway, guys, this was just a quick video on why I wouldn't recommend LG. I'm sorry if it's not a really good video, but I kind of did this off the cuff here. I know, like, I've been thinking about it, but I really didn't gather all my thoughts together. I did earlier, but I lost them pretty much. But I think this came out alright. But yeah, I'll be back with more videos. My fiance might be in more videos with me now since we're living together, which would be cool. She was a little scared about it at first, but I think she's coming into her own now. But anyway, guys, this has been Justin Ruland, and I'm out of here. Peace.